This is Providence Television International, the game changer.
Good day and welcome to the newspaper analysis segment for today, Saturday. Well, as usual, I know that so many of you have actually looked forward to your favorite program. Well, on today's program, we actually have quite a lot lined up for you. I know that so many people have actually come out to say that, yes, this is one program that they look out to. But please, do bear in mind, if this is your first time, actually, that will have so much packed for your viewing pleasure. And on this note, I want to say, I am Ubebo Ikekwa. Welcome to the program. I'm not alone in the studio. I have with me the Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, Providence Television International, Dr. Emmanuel Egariva. You're welcome.
Well, I am very happy that we are back after some interval. Yes, we're doing a few other things, but I'm glad that a lot of viewers, particularly from outside the country, they responded so well and they were quite concerned. But today we are back. And it's a very happy weekend, I should think. Yes. Incidentally, the weather is getting hotter and hotter. Very soon, I guess, the Harmattan season will come in. But my friends in Europe keep telling me that the weather is getting quite cold now. Particularly in England, places like Sweden and the rest, getting cold. So you can see that we're particularly lucky in these parts, for example. So, but I wish them well, and I wish that back home in Nigeria will have a very happy weekend.
Well, on this note, we'll go straight to this day newspapers. Well, we'll be looking at the first topic. Tinubu hunger, poverty will soon be a thing of the past in Nigeria. Seals 2.5 billion naira deal with, I'll take that again. Seals $2.5 billion deal with Brazilian meat packer company to build 6 factories in Nigeria.
Well, I should think that's good news. That's good news, obviously. These are things we want to hear on a regular basis. But we want more of action, and not just promises. I think that's what Nigerians truly want. Action, and not just promises. Another loan coming, meaning that we're going to pile up our debts and things like that. A lot of experts will not like that because very soon we'll go into, they think that might go into what they call a debt trap. Okay? Yeah. But yes, Brazil, a few years ago, it was a developing country like Nigeria, and I think that is the most important thing. The biggest country in Latin America, by the way. Just like Nigeria is so highly populated, Brazil is also highly populated, but they have converted all of that into positive dimensions. Yes. So today, the Brazil we knew is no longer the Brazil of today. Yes. I mean, they are producing things like submarines and all that. I think, in fact, they are even going to space now. So that's what population does. When you have a huge population like Nigeria, you have the human resources in abundance. That's what Brazil has used. That's what countries like China has used. Okay, so but I hope our leaders will keep learning one or two lessons so that they don't always go cap in hands to countries that were just developing countries just a few years ago. Brazil is a very typical example. Is the king, when you talk about developing or developed countries in South America, is the king, is the number one. Okay? So, but we hope the relationship between these two countries, Nigeria and Brazil, will translate into very positive results for us back in Nigeria. And I do pray that the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be on top of the situation.
Yes. Well, we're talking about 6 factories expected to come in. Before we look at that, because the next story will be dealing on security. Investments as regards foreigners coming to invest in Nigeria and security. Well, is that a kind of link?
Well, first of all, let me say this. I mean, arising from the last story there. 6 factories. That means in each of the 6 geographical zones. Yes. That's what I think. I mean, on its face value. But yes, to answer your question, that's why we need security in this country. Because, you see, no investor will want to come into a place that is not secured. All right? They won't place their money in a place that they are not too sure of the safety of their workers, and all of that. That is the reason why the federal government must always tackle the issue of insecurity head-on.
Okay.
I'm happy, though, that this other group that has just come in now, outside Boko Haram, they have been flushed out of 3 states, as it were. I think one of the papers carried it or something. Well, that's another good news. But I hope it's not a flash in the pan.
Exactly. And so we'll go straight to that story where we have on the front page of the Leadership Weekend, Lakurawa attacks. Normalcy returns to Kebbi, Sokoto communities. Army declares terrorists flushed from local government areas.
Good. That's very good. The Nigerian military is on top of the game. But I don't think it's going to be an ephemeral kind of thing. We want a permanent solution to it. Because you see, these people they are non-state actors. They cross borders into this country from the Sahel. So I think the fight must start from the boundaries, the very loose boundaries, where we have a lot of loopholes. Okay, it's not a question of flushing them out. They might migrate into other areas. So we flush them out completely, decimate their command structure, so that they don't have the capacity to spread to other areas. That's how Boko Haram started, by the way. So I want to give kudos to Nigerian Army, the military forces. They've done well, but let it not be a one-time shot. I mean, they really have to take it to them. I mean, really forcefully. All right. We are hearing of Lakurawas. We are hearing less of Boko Haram now.
Yes.
Okay. Let it not be a transfer of aggression from one to the other. Okay. Let it not be a transfer of capacity, rather, from one to the other one. So we are praying that, yes, the military should continue to do what they are doing. Okay. This has come as good news, particularly now that we are preparing for Christmas.
Yes.
Okay.
And so does that mean that immigration has so much on their hand?
Oh, yeah, sure. Immigration, in fact, all the forces, the military, the paramilitary forces should come together. It's not a war you can fight singly.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
You have to fight it on so many fronts. In any case, immigration, customs, the borders. But our borders are porous. That's what I've always said on this program. Our borders are porous. That's where they come in. And they don't come in by flight. They come in through our borders, these non-state actors. So you really need to police them properly. And intelligence, I've always said it. Intelligence is important. You must go into the midst of the people and ask questions. And remember what I said some time ago. These people from the Sahel, they look like our brothers and sisters in those states. They are the northern fringes. Yeah, they look like them. You can't tell the difference between a man from Niger, for instance, and a man from Katsina. In fact, they have relations there. You remember when Buhari was here? He has his own place in Daura, but they also have relations in in Niger Republic. So they look alike, and you see, it takes intelligence, serious intelligence, to be able to decipher these discrepancies.
All right, we'll move from that to the Punch newspapers, where we have. We'll take the first report there. Farmers left in ruins as Ogun 4 billion naira rice project disappears.
I don't understand. How can a farmland disappear? Oh, I wish we could go into the body of that story. It disappeared. Well, I don't know, but is it flood or banditry or something? But it's a minus for agricultural development. And Ogun State is very close to Lagos, you remember.
Yes.
And it's an agrarian place. Ogun State is an agrarian society. So that is a big minus for the government. But again, I wish we could do all of that and go into the body of the newspapers. But however, that's something that our readers should go into. In other words, you must get a copy of the newspaper to go into the details.
Well, as usual, Providence Television International will keep you updated on that story. Yes. And so we're still on the front page of the Punch newspapers. National Assembly under fire as Nigeria's debt hits 138 trillion naira.
That's hidden there, though, but the major news story there, you can see it. Nigerians in Finland panic as search for sponsors begins. Maybe we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Now, this last one you talk about, what was it again?
National Assembly under fire.
Yes.
As Nigeria's debt hits 138 trillion naira.
Yeah, that's what I said a little while ago. It's piling up. And the National Assembly is the approving body, so to speak. Yes, but a lot of people have said, let's not be a rubber stamp organ.
Yes.
All right. I mean, there are certain things the presidency can bring out. They say no. But what have we seen in this country? Anytime we have things from some very huge figures from the State House or from Aso they just rubber stamp, okay, without looking at the implications of such approvals. I think that's what they should be looking at. That's what they should be looking at every little opportunity. They raise up the figures, or they just approve wholesale. It's not done that way. Okay? Because you see, yes, I do know that government is a continuum, but we shouldn't be hiding under the cloak of piling up in debts to the detriment of future generations. No, I don't think that's acceptable.
All right, we'll go back to that story I actually said we should look at. That is still on the front page of the Punch newspaper, where we have Simon Ekpa. Nigerians in Finland panic as search for sponsors begin.
Well, I've always known that sooner rather than later, the young man Ekpa will run into some troubled waters because it's been quite loud, unnecessarily loud. But I'm also happy now that IPOB has denied him.
IPOB, yes, exactly.
Yes, of recognition, because I think he's not adding value to what they are doing. So you see that he's virtually on his own now. In the next few days, we might be talking about extradition, and things like that. In fact, I'm happy that even the military command has talked about the legal processes. I think they are working on it, so it doesn't look like there's going to be another rendition, as it were. So that's it. I mean, the young man he's been too loud, really.
Exactly.
Unnecessarily loud. And he's been heaping all kinds of authority on himself. I really realized that very soon he was going to run into troubled waters. And I'm also happy that there's a wedge now between him and IPOB. In fact, it was so bad that at the time they will give instructions from Finland, and the people back in the eastern parts will obey.
Would obey, yes.
Yes, it was that bad. Outside the purview of IPOB. So there was a command structure problem, really.
Yes.
But that one now has been decimated, and I hope that it will be a final stop to all of these discrepancies.
Well, one of the papers actually did carry it that the federal government is seriously interested in his having been held in Finland.
Yes, because, I mean, international relations, I will tell you that nations want to keep their interests going, not on the basis of one person just doing things and all of that. And there have been very good relations, I think, between Nigeria and Finland.
Yes.
Yes, in fact, between Nigeria and all the Scandinavian countries, Sweden, Norway, Denmark.
Yes.
So there should not be another wedge between. And I think that at the ambassadorial level, much more should be done to be sure that Nigerians resident in Finland are not affected one way or the other.
Exactly. If you would recall, Providence Television actually living up to our slogan as a game changer. We actually brought you this report on Simon Ekpa's arrest and being detained in Finland. That was within the week, about a day or two ago. We actually did carry that as part of our news story. And so we move now to the front page of the Saturday Tribune, where we have hunger in the land. Thieves invade Celestial Church, steal harvest cows. The church leader says, we've never seen anything like this.
This is good for weekend relief, honestly.
Exactly.
I can't help it. I have to laugh, quite frankly. Celestial Church of Christ. This is amazing, really. Harvest cows. How do they steal those cows?
That is the first question.
It's a very terrible thing.
And there's a very strong caption to it: hunger in the land. So
that will drive people into stealing cows from four places, churches. Don't they know that they will heap curses on us? That's kind of thing. But I want to thank the Tribune.
Yes.
We need such comic relief on a weekend such as this.
Although the church leader is not actually finding it funny, he has come out to say, we've never seen anything like this.
No, have you seen? Not all the churches will say that.
Exactly.
They will say that, obviously. You expect that. They have never seen anything like this. And the important thing now, let's be serious. The important thing now is that a lot of this harvest period, by the way,
exactly,
a lot of churches now will be very wary. They might employ the services of night watchmen
Yes.
to look after some of those things
exactly.
that they bring. But I think it's just devilry, sheer devilry. You go into a church to steal cows. I've never seen it.
Exactly.
I've never even heard of it before. Okay, so even smaller animals like goats, sheep, and fowls,
They'll
be well protected.
They'll be well protected.
Yes,
exactly.
very well protected.
Wow.
And in fact, this is also true. A lot of people who may want to do Thanksgiving with cows, they will think twice.
Yes.
From that story,
Exactly.
they will think twice because you see, what's the point? You give a cow as Thanksgiving, then somebody else will
just come from nowhere
and take it away.
Wow.
All right, and let it not even be an inside arrangement.
That was another thought.
Yes.
Because where were
Let it not be an inside arrangement because
of
people are hungry.
Yes.
Yes, they could just steal these cows and go and sell them
Exactly.
somewhere, so that they can get money to feed.
Very, very true.
Yeah, we can't rule out that one completely.
Just like the caption says, hunger in the land.
Yes, hunger in the land. But it's driving people to the extreme. You can't put things in the house of God and you go and but I'm suspecting that, that's my personal opinion. Would there be a collaboration between people outside and within the church?
Within.
Okay,
well, the next story on the front page of the Saturday Tribune. We have not yet stopped funds allocation to rivers. This is coming from federal government. So, please, just before you come in with your opinion, this has become a kind of weapon. The federal government having to stop. It happened at Obasanjo's time with Lagos State, having to stop allocation to some particular states. From the point of view as a legal practitioner, as a lawyer, is this constitutional?
No, really, it's not. I mean, that's what we learned from Lagos, for instance. And I'm happy, though. I'm happy that the federal government has said no, that they have not stopped the allocation. Even though Rivers State government has gone to the Court of Appeal. At the end of the day, I think they will get it right. I mean, obviously, you can't do that. You can't weaponize these kind of things, all right? Because you see, the danger in it is, let's face it, if you stop the allocation, it means that you are going to put some people out of job, many people out of job, and that will create mayhem and all sort of things. So the federal government has to be wary of this kind of eventuality that people are already thinking of. And I pray that Rivers does not become a watershed in this country. Because a lot of things have been happening between Wike and his godson, Fubara. Let the federal government intervene for once and finally. Because it might just dovetail into something that we cannot contain. Exactly. Well, I'm also happy, though, that the court has come in the case of the local government
elections.
Yes, so that means that the local government election was valid. Yes, from what the court has said. So these are steps that we can use, for instance, to ameliorate the situation back in Rivers. Yes. Okay, we need peace in Rivers, obviously, because that's the foundation of economic power. Yes, Rivers. Rivers, Lagos, but Rivers particularly because it's a major oil-producing state in this country.
Yes. Well, on this note, I want to say thank you so much, sir, for coming to the studio for the newspaper analysis. Like I would always say, it's not all the time you have your CEO joining you in the studio. Thanks again for coming.
Well, I just want to say, even though you didn't mention it, we always have, what do you call it? Passing shot.
Okay, yeah, passing shot, yes.
Yes, or something. Yes, what do we say on this occasion? We must warn people against cult clashes.
Yes.
For instance, which will become rampant in this part of the country. We need peace, obviously. Need peace for development. Yes, obviously, we need to put a stop to those clashes here and there. Young people should find themselves busy. They should get themselves busy rather than go into all kinds of mayhem. That's not helping us. In fact, it's not even giving those states a very good image. Okay. So, but I'm happy that the governor, Senator Okpewo, is come on strongly against this. It's said one or two things. He has banned some certain groups. Yes. That they cannot. About a week ago, I mean, all hell was let loose
Yeah.
in some parts of the state capital.
Mm.
So, but that's not the thing that we wish for, obviously. I
Exactly.
mean, Christmas is coming,
Mm.
and this is the time that people usually lift up the banner of sales of
Yes.
Christmas goods
Mm.
and things like that, because people were emptying into Benin.
Yeah.
We have a lot of residents in Europe who come to Benin,
Mm.
a great number of people. Let it not be that because of this clash they won't come
Exactly.
this Christmas,
Mm.
and that's a minus for traders and for many other people who are in commerce.
Quite true.
So the police must work in tandem with the other security agencies to ensure that we put a final stop to these clashes.
All right. Once again, thank you so much, sir. And for you, our viewer out there, thank you so much. If you are not there, we wouldn't have Providence Television International. And so I want to say, once again, please stay tuned.